Okay.
All right, should we get a countdown? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. My name is Jesse Simpson, and today we're going to be speaking with our guest, David Rios, here in YORB. YORB is a project that began in the early 1990s at NYU's Interactive Telecommunications program and has since seen a bit of a revival. I graduated from ITP a year ago, and now I'm a research resident here, and I've been working with a great team of other residents to realize this project idea of cataloging the past and even re-envisioning what YORB could be today. If you're watching this in the future, you may be asking yourself, why are they conducting this interview?
Uh-oh.
If you're watching this in the future, you may be wondering why they're conducting this interview in YORB, on the internet, in a virtual space. Hi, I'm Jesse Simpson, and let me take you on a journey of wonder and mystery and COVID-19. Follow me. Here we go. YORB, 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 YORB,
Hey, Kai.
What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Hi, nice to see you.
Oh,
Hey,
Jesse, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm great.
Good to see you, man.
hey, Kai. We're just about to do an interview with David. If you want to watch.
Sure, why not?
Should I just pick up where I left off?
Yeah.
Please.
Has been hard at work creating this digital replica of our home at 370 J Street in Brooklyn, New York. And so, without further ado, hey, David.
Hi.
So here we are in YORB, and before we get started, I just wanted to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at ITP.
Myself and what I do at ITP. Well, my name's David Rios. I am an alum and current professor at ITP. I teach physical computing, creative computing. I teach an escape room class, and I teach a IMA class called Designing Interfaces for Live Performance. How do I shake Kai's hand? Like that?
Yeah.
Are we friends now?
So you're a professor at ITP. You're also an alum, and I understand that in spite of being really young at the time, you had some firsthand experience with YORB back in the 90s. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that and tell us your memories.
Yeah. Right. So YORB in the 90s, I wasn't actually totally aware of I wasn't totally aware of like what I was watching at the time. So I guess to rewind just a little bit. So I was born and raised in New York. So I grew up here, and I'm guessing if people got this far, they know that YORB is like a public access thing that happened in New York City in the 90s. But because I had lived my whole life in Brooklyn, I didn't understand what YORB or what any of this was, because YORB was restricted to Manhattan. So you couldn't actually watch YORB if you were in Brooklyn, because that's BCAT. Manhattan had a separate station. So my introduction to YORB was through a friend of mine who lived in Manhattan, who he thought actually I can't remember now if it was him or his older sister, but they thought, since they knew like I had never seen this channel before, they were like, hey, you should show Rios like this show, which actually was the show that was on before YORB. And they thought that would be like a great prank / I don't know, freak me out or something. And we would, one fortuitous day, and probably a couple afterwards, I would like sleep over my friend's house in Manhattan, and they would turn on MCAT, and there would be this other show, and I would be like, why are we watching What is going on, guys?
So you don't have to get into what that show is.
We don't need to talk about that show. Yeah. But
okay.
afterwards was the YORB show, which I found like way more interesting, and just like completely did not understand what I was looking at all. But I think after maybe one or two times of seeing like, here's this weird thing, we got on an episode where you could call in, and we tried to actually call in, and yeah, we were also completely freaked out because I had no idea what I was calling into or what the interface was or what was supposed to happen. I don't even remember really what the show was. I think it was in somebody's apartment, and like I thought we could like dial in commands, or I can't remember if we ever actually got anybody on the other end, because like I must have been like 15 or 14 or something at the time, and it was the kind of thing where I was like, this is weird, I'm kind of interested, I'm gonna go out now.
Nice. Well, that's a good introduction. So actually, yeah, that's a good segue. You were talking about MCAT, or what channel you watched it on. So we had some conflicting information about what channels it aired on. And I'm wondering now if that differed based on where in the city one was located, or just the nature of public access. It maybe aired on multiple stations.
Definitely. I mean, I know for sure Brooklyn did not get it because we had BCAT, and I didn't even have cable as a kid, so I wasn't the most familiar, but I did watch a lot of TV as a child, and including public access and like PBS and stuff, network. But yeah, no, we did not have the same programming as Manhattan. So BCAT and MCAT were pretty different, unless someone like took the initiative to like do both, But I think that was probably on the creator side, or whoever's running the show.
Right. So was this like a one-time thing, or was this something that you kind of became interested in after you saw it the first time and sort of kept tabs on as the production went on?
It was like a two-time thing, because for whatever reason, it was just the types of episodes that aired at the time. But the first time we saw it, I literally was just like, holy crap, like what actually is this? This is like, this isn't just total bullshit, like something I would flip the channel, but also like I don't understand it. And that's kind of like the type of kid I was, where it was like, hey, like my friends like were like, all right, man, like, we see this, like this is our channel, we see this all the time. I'm like, well, but maybe we could just like, can we just chill for like another 15 minutes and watch this? And of course, like they didn't want to do it. They want to do other stuff. And then later on, like on other sleepovers, I wasn't sure if I was actually getting the same channel, because we wouldn't tune in for it. It would be like, oh, it's 11:45. Oh, maybe that weird thing is back on, and it would be something that didn't resemble anything from the last time I saw it, which was like a couple weeks ago. So I cannot definitively say one way or another.
At the time, did you associate it with ITP and NYU, or like was this your introduction to the ITP program, or just like some random thing and you didn't find out until years later that they were associated?
Not at all. I had no idea that, like, I just assumed like some weirdo somewhere in New York was doing a weird thing, and like, it probably I grew up in kind of like I was kind of raised to be a very timid person, so I was like, this is some weird shit that's probably bad. I don't know. Like some I don't even know, like techno, like something. And I was like, I don't know, this is strange. But I definitely didn't associate it with NYU, probably because like we never got to the end of the show, because again, I was like, like 15 or something, and my friends had other plans, and it was just kind of like, someone would just turn the TV off and be like, "We're going now." I'm like, okay. But later on, actually, I didn't even know what YORB was until after I graduated. Tom told me about it when I was a resident. So I was also a resident, and at some point it came up in conversation, and Tom told me about the YORB, or maybe it was Tom and Dano. But I was like, wait a minute. This thing you're describing sounds really familiar. Was it like this? Was it like that? Yeah.
I've looked back in the archives on YouTube and found some fun public access shows from that same period on in New York. Were there any that you remember specifically that you kind of watched out for, and others that might be worth mentioning?
I'm not the best person to ask because I didn't have cable as a kid, so I would only watch like proper public access, like BCAT and MCAT, when I was at a friend's house or at like my cousin's house. So I think there was one at the time. I was like in an African dance class, and there was like one show where like you would just watch people doing like dance. I think it was actually like videotapes of actual performances in some black box theater somewhere in Brooklyn or something. There was a lot of like arts programming. There was a lot of weird talk shows that I don't have no specific memory of. But yeah, no. The thing that I actually watched the most, which is a little bit embarrassing, was The Box. Do you guys know The Box?
No,
I don't.
Yeah,
The Box. Because I didn't have cable, I didn't have MTV. But there was this other like on-air channel that wasn't BCAT, but it was some other station, and they would air The Box, which was just a 24-hour channel for music videos. But the way you would watch the music video is you had to call in and actually pay to watch a video. You'd have to order the video, So I would flip to The Box and just see if anybody else was actually like paying to watch music videos on TV, and people were.
If you paid, other people could watch it?
Well, anybody who paid, it was like a jukebox, The Box. So people would pay, and the video would air. I consider a lot of like pop culture is like by watching some crazy person who like paid for 30 plays of Seal Kissed by a Rose over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
That is that's awesome. That's a really interesting business model, though, for like a television jukebox.
Yeah, it was. I did not like thinking about it now. I'm like, I just don't understand how because when nobody ordered, it was just like those infomercials. Those CD compilation infomercials. You ever seen those?
Yeah.
It was that. So it was just like snippets of what could be played and like the playlist and like the order the codes for like picking your video or whatever. And I was kind of fascinated because I think this precedes my YORB experience just a little bit, but at the time I wasn't like online yet, so I couldn't really look up stuff. So it was kind of like, oh wow, like there's all this other music that I can't see at my cousin's house because it's not really being played on MTV, and it's not on regular TV, and I'm not totally aware of like how the internet works yet. So I'm just like, this is just like a weird place. I hope somebody plays one of these other, like I'm like looking at like 80s hits, and I'm like, what's in excess? And I'm like, I don't know, that sounds cool. Or like, who is Slash? I'm like, Slash, that sounds badass. What is that? And it's just like, no one ever played it, by the way. People just played all the stuff I would hear on my local radio station anyway. So it was a lot of Seal, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and Celine Dion.
Nice.
all of whom I still love to this day.
Yeah, so it really shaped you as a person.
It really did. It made an impact.
Cool. So just, you were having experience with a project from decades ago, and then attending as a student, and now being a faculty member. how have you seen things evolve? What sort of aspects of the culture have stayed the same throughout, and what has changed in your time period here?
Well, I think the thing that continues to persist is playfulness and sort of just experimentation. I think there's you could always tell like when you're looking at ITP projects, like, so I think they've actually gotten, in terms of like finish and polish, way better. Like, things just look better and tend to run a little bit better these days. But you can always see like a little bit of authorship and sort of like whatever handmade quality is in there, like that always comes through in like the best way possible, at least in my opinion. So I feel like that's pretty much, that's evolved, but that's like the consistent thing. I don't know, different technologies come and go, right? Like, yeah. All the telephone stuff seems, you can develop apps for smartphones now. The old sort of dial-in model of telecom has kind of disappeared. When I was a student, like, it might have been the second to last or maybe the last version of the redial class, which I still to this day am a little bit sad I didn't take, because I thought it was the coolest thing. It was like hacking phones and playing with asterisks, and I'm sure you can talk to other people who have way more experience with that kind of stuff. But that's the other thing I guess that persists, is like you graduate and you're like, I should have really taken this class or that class.
Yeah. YORB has taken many forms over the years. It started out, it was, Dano's TV show. It also then became a class where students produced episodes, and a large cast of characters have worked on it in different capacities over the years. And now, in 2020, it lives on as a 3D virtual space on the internet. And just thinking about all of that, with all of it in mind, what does YORB mean to you when you picture it in your mind, and what do you hope to see it become in the future?
Ooh, so yeah, this is the YORB. This is the YORB that's YORB for me, because the previous YORB I just had this like very tiny, and maybe it did kind of seed some like preliminary interest in this type of work. But when I think of YORB, the project specifically, like, this is it for me, and this one is, I don't know, this one's just like, I wasn't totally sure what you guys were gonna do. And just seeing the multiple versions is kind of awesome. Something that I still would like to do, and especially now more than ever with like the Zoom parties and all this like not in-person stuff. A while ago I had this idea of like, it would be cool to have actual broadcasting, like proper production, like whether it's radio or TV or something in between, right? But like something that kind of moves a little bit back towards that like film school or broadcasting model. And this potentially could be one of the ways to do that, like all the classes at the end of the semester that kind of transitioned into taking place on Zoom or streaming on Twitch. It's just like, we're kind of back to that original, like, I kind of think about the quote that always goes around, the Redburn, she picks up the Portacam, and I'm like, whoa, like, yeah, this is it. This is just like the other next version of the Portacam, where like you can reach just as many people and have just as much control. And I don't know, it's like in a way almost easier. And it's just about like, I don't know, what do people want to do with it? I did college radio, so I immediately think like, it would be nice to have a radio station or like a DJ space or something. And especially like, after thesis week, I'm like, wow, there's so many ITP DJs and people who just like love music and play stuff that I just don't know anything about anymore because I'm not in that world anymore. But yeah.
Yeah, this this isolation has really given me a new appreciation for my skills in interactive telecommunications at ITP that I acquired. And I totally agree. Like, we just have so many opportunities to have, online interactions that we weren't able to have before.
Hey, how'd you find us?
You ask me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like, I don't recognize you. What's your name? Who are you? Hey, I'm David.
Hello, I'm Dima.
Dima.
Hey,
Yes,
Dima.
do you see me? I don't see my webcam.
We can see you.
We
Yes.
see you. Yeah.
Yeah,
can see you.
hello, I'm from Russia.
You're
From
right.
Russia?
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is being recorded.
We're recording this for an interview right now. Is that okay with you?
Oh, sorry. I just leave you.
No, it's fine.
great.
It's fine.
It's great. We're happy to have you.
Okay.
How did you,
My
my
friends send me this link.
This is amazing. See, this is what I love about this is like we can just like get visitors. Like visitors is something that we haven't had in months, This is like, I don't know. This is awesome. Thanks for visiting.
Glad to see you. My English is not very, very good, but
That's okay.
I understand you.
It's fine.
Okay.
So, Dima, what do you do? Are you interested in technologies and 3D spaces?
I'm a front-end developer.
Ah, nice.
Cool.
What about you?
Are you? So all of us are, we work or attend ITP in some capacity. Are you familiar with the ITP and NYU?
Not sure.
Okay, so the space that you're in right now is an online version of a school that takes place in New York City, and it's called the Interactive Telecommunications Program. So here we learn all about how to use technologies or new and emerging technologies in creative ways. So it's a lot of computer programming and hardware development and human interaction design.
It's very cool. It's very
Yes.
cool program. Amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, enjoy. Feel free to explore. There's a lot of things to see inside as well.
See you.
Nice meet you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes,
Where
this
we
is
can find-
this is where I sit. I think it's like here. Hold on, let me get the view. It's here. Yep.
Nice. That is exactly the view that I have of you every time I walk over here.
Yep.
David, do you have any closing remarks or anything you want to say about YORB, ITP, anything else? Any message for the future or your future self? Or questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more curious to know what you guys want to do with your, like that suggestion of doing one for every show. That's pretty amazing. One of the first things actually that I thought of when I got wind that you guys were doing this was like how, like, are you going to build out an entire YORB world? Like, is there a YORB? I get like, would there be like a YORB NIME, a YORB big screens, or like a YORB downstairs lobby, YORB pop-up windows, YORB whatever, YORB thesis?
Yeah.
I think one of the things that was really exciting about building our own platform like this, as opposed to using a pre-existing virtual space platform, was the idea that we could invite the community to hack on it and build their own features in and make different spaces for different events and that sort of thing. So I guess what I'd love to see this version of YORB become is something that, a lot of people can contribute to and make their own spaces for their own needs.
I'm trying to imagine what this, like maybe kind of in the same way that Dan and everyone else in the 90s, like I just wonder if like what they thought YORB would be in like 20, 30 years. Like I'm kind of wondering like how this contributes to whatever comes in 20 to 30. Like this just seems like an amazing, like real time. It's simultaneously awesome for real time, but like as far as like archival experiences, there was a lot of library projects this year. Like it just, I don't know, like this is just, at least for my experience, this is like just like my kind of first, my first experience like in this sort of like 3D totally connected type of space. And I don't know if there are existing things already out there because I haven't done that research, but I just see a lot of potential for like those avenues as well, like where you can have like something that feels spatial and physical without like demanding physical resources or something.
Rios, thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure talking to you and exploring YORB together. Where'd you go? What's it?
Sorry.
So yeah, thank you very much. Everybody get into the shot here, and we're going to try to do one of those things where we all jump in the air and then we'll freeze frame.
Everyone in the audience, come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, our live studio audience. Come on in. Come join us.
Yeah.
I love the live studio audience.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, then go.
Did it work?
Afternoon delight, cocktails and moonlit nights. That dreamy look in your eye, give me a tropical contact high. Way down in
YORB 2.0.
Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go?
YORB 2.0. YORB 2.0.
Prince, I wanna catch a glimpse.
Rios, where are you?
Where's Rios?
Where did he go? Is he over here?
I didn't see him there. I'm guessing he's in his office.
I'm trapped in a room.
I don't even.
There we go. Okay. Oh, terrifying.
Rios.
Where is Rios?
I don't know. Let's go down here. All right, he's not here.
YORB 2.0.
Rios.
He's not in his office.
He's not in the coffee. He's not in the. Okay.
No. Oh wait, there's some folks down here. Let's see if we can. Oh, they just turned the corner.
YORB 2.0.
Rios.
Funny.
Okay, cool. Here we are. Oh, Rios, we've been looking for you all over the floor.